guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of going through the whole Gabbie and everyone else involved in the drama that we've been talking about for days, we're going to be looking at Daniel Preda's video response in response to Gabbie's series. There is a lot to cover, so buckle up. But before we dive in, I first want to apologize for my poor audio quality. I am just moving and I lost my microphone. I know, I suck, but I'm sorry. Also, make sure to subscribe, turn your post notifications on. Alright, whatever. Let's get into the tea. As we know, Gabbie has been releasing her series addressing every drama that she's been in the past week or so. We've covered everything so far, so make sure to check out my last videos for context. And in response to her addressing the Escape the Night drama, Daniel and Joey made their video. We already went through Joey's, so in this one we're going to be looking into Daniel's movie-long video on it. It had all the receipts and more. So to start off, Daniel said Gabbie used ADHD as an excuse and her behavior was extremely rude and unprofessional. Daniel spoke of his experience with mental health issues and how he does not think it's an excuse for the way somebody acts.
I know who I am, and I do not let my issues with mental health reflect who I am as a person. When I come on set, I'm there to work, and that is something that I had a major issue with in Gabbie's video. Her using that as an excuse is not an excuse.
He said that a lot of the issues began in season 2. He said a lot of our behavior then was reflected in season 4 as well. He mentioned a lot of tension and jealousy from Gabbie towards other female co-stars. Many issues occurred with everybody, but Gabbie was the most problematic and she was the common denominator. Then he talked about Gabbie being rude to Tana and Liza specifically.
I think one of the biggest issues of season 2 was the clash between Gabbie and a lot of the other female co-stars. Gabbie was extremely rude to Tana. Tana was very new to fame, to influence, to having a following at the time, and there was a lot of bullying from Gabbie's end to Tana, which I believe Tana has talked about publicly many times. And the same thing with Liza. I really think there was just a weird dynamic of having somebody who's a competitor from Vine and YouTube on the same show that you are, and I really think that Gabbie was just not confident in herself and needed to act up and act like a massive diva on set just to outshine everyone else.
Daniel said that at the end of the day, Gabbie was very entertaining on camera, despite acting like a diva and causing harm to others behind the scene. Moving on, Daniel talks about how season 4 was planned. He said that they didn't actually beg Gabbie to be part of the cast, which, if you remember, she claimed in her video about Escape the Night that she really didn't want to be a part of the 4th season, but Joey and Daniel begged her and insisted on her taking part in it. From then, he explained that it benefited Gabbie way more than the production itself to be on the show, since the show is giving the creator a whole new audience, a whole new platform. The show was a YouTube original, therefore it's heavily promoted, and overall it would be much more beneficial to her.
It is on a massive platform. You're on billboards all across the United States. You're paid, obviously. You are hand-selected by executives, or you're allowed to be by the top executives at YouTube. Your videos are also pushed into another algorithm because you're being seen more on a weekly basis.
After that, Daniel talked about how the production went. He said that they had 2 options for the cast. Either they could stay at a hotel by the location of the shooting that is paid for them, or they could have a private driver every night bringing them to set and back to their house. He also said that they could do a combination of both, which sounds really nice, not gonna lie. Then he showed a few clips of the trailers. He called out Gabbie by saying that there were plenty of options and people were accommodated by their dietary requirements and needs. He said that him and Joey actually paid out of their own pockets to make sure everybody was taken care of. He showed more pictures of the trailers and more footage of behind the scenes. Moving on, Daniel mentioned Colleen Bollinger, who just gave birth to her child right before filming, and how she, as a new mother, was very professional and supportive. She had a private, smaller trailer since, you know, she had to breastfeed and to take care of her baby. Then he talked about the first day of filming, and he showed a clip of Gabbie and how excited she seemed to be on set.
Here she is.
Out of breath.
Yeah.
Oh my god, anytime we have to run for the challenges, I'm done.
It's over.
Done for, but guess what?
Oh,
Stunning.
wait, give a turn. Gorgeous.
As you can see, she's living for it. She loved how she looked.
His next point was that after the first day, he got a lot of feedback from other females that Gabbie was rude and because of her attitude. He said that at this point, he thought now her actions are affecting others from the cast. If it was just him, he would be past that, but because it was affecting other cast members and other workers on set, he was just like, we can't have a toxic environment. That's not okay.
At the end of day 1, a female YouTuber came up to Joey and I. She came up to Joey and I and asked to be killed off the show as soon as possible because she was extremely uncomfortable with Gabbie Hanna and how she was acting on set.
Then Daniel spoke about the differences in filming as one YouTuber with just a camera and a whole production team and set. That was in response to a clip from Gabby's video where she talked about the late night shoots.
This absurdly ridiculous call time, and I literally told the producer no. So I'd literally just be sitting there for fucking ever.
Like I said, the hours were long, and what we say in the industry is something, if you guys have ever worked on a set before, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. Hurry up, get to set, oh wait, we're not ready for you, go back, sit down. This is how it works. It's not about you, it's a group effort.
Daniel spoke about how everyone's time matters and everybody has to work as a team and as a crew. He said working on a set is extremely difficult and different from filming on your own.
You need to go in with a positive attitude, wanting to create something amazing, and that's what we were doing. However, it's not easy working conditions. We're filming for anywhere from 12 to 15-hour days.
Next, he talked about the costumes. He said that the reason Gabby's costume didn't fit properly was because obviously she didn't attend 2 of 3 costume fittings. That's also what Joey said in his response, which watch my previous video for more context. And that's actually also what Rosanna said in her tweet. So I think we have some good evidence that Gabby did not, in fact, show up to 2 out of 3 fittings. Which I don't understand how she thought that was okay at all. Like, what world does this girl live in where she can just not show up to like 2/3 of her job? What the f? What Daniel shared on the costumes pretty much lines up with what we've already heard from Joey, and here is a text between Daniel and an executive. They were like, Gabby is officially on the list. Not only did she make blank, who is 9 months pregnant, to drive all the way to our studio in Porter Ranch today at 5 p.m, but she legit left early and isn't available all night to get fitted. So we'll have to pick her outfit for her and it won't be fitted. It's the biggest you. She canceled on us yesterday too. Like, I just don't understand how Gabby had the audacity to complain about costumes at all when she didn't show up to 2 fittings. Like, girl, aren't you embarrassed? Next was the part where Gabby talked about her eating and getting triggered due to what was going on set. Daniel said that he would be sensitive to that subject, and he said that he was sorry that happened, but he also wanted to remind her that there were options available for her. He said that if there were any issues, Gabby could have talked to the kitchen and gotten it resolved.
I will be sensitive to that, and if that's the case, I completely respect it and I'm sorry that that happened. However, I will not be lied on saying that there were not options for you.
I'm giving you these very clear things that I need. I need to meet my dietary restrictions.
Weeks before production starts, everybody is sent a ton of paperwork talking about your preferences, allergies, what you want to eat on set. None of that was filled out, period.
Then Daniel reads a few texts between him and Gabby. The texts show Daniel clearly going out of his way to go shopping for Gabby specifically. Like, that was not in his job description, by the way, but he would just like go grocery shopping, grab snacks and drinks.
I pulled this completely out of my ass. I wasn't going to Whole Foods. I'm like, let me appease Gabby. Let me go make her some salads each day. It's not a big deal, even though that was not in my job description, but we didn't have the budget for me to have my own assistant this season.
And a lot of the times he would go over budget because apparently YouTube was only paying them like $500 a week for food, and he was going over, so he was paying out of pocket. He specifically asked, like, let me know if you want anything, and she was just like, I need hella healthy shit or else I'll eat all the chips LMAO. Like, be specific if you are such a specific person in terms of your diet. And then there are also these texts, just like her kind of being a tiny bit bitchy about the internet. Like, not too bad, but, you know, she was just, like, not being the sweetest. She needed to upload a video, and she was just like, what's the internet like on set? And Daniel was so sweet, like, offering to buy her a portable router from Target for the trailer. And then just, like, randomly being like, when do we get a meal? Like, just rude, you know, rude. He sent her a bunch of options, which included, like, veggie curry and beans and strawberry and green salad and fruit. And she was just like, my stomach hurts so bad from eating shit I'm not supposed to eat. Like, what do you mean? You're not supposed to be eating fruit or like veggie curry or, I don't know, strawberry and green salad? Like, how dare you? And also, Gabby posted these texts herself in her video as well. So I don't know how she was expecting people to like understand her side, because she immediately was just like, we only had snacks. Like, clearly there's like food here. There's like penne and there's ground beef. And obviously not everything's going to be healthy, because not everybody on set can be forced to eat healthy in order to avoid triggering your eating disorder. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds terrible, but that's just facts.
There were so many options. Not one other person had an issue with any of the food on set. Was it 5-star? Absolutely not. This is production. We have catering. We have crafty services. But guess what? That's not what we're here for. This is not a 5-star restaurant or resort. This is a production.
And then she was like, did my agents tell you guys my meal requirements? And Daniel's just like, this is not my job. Like, I'm a fucking producer. Stop talking to me about my food. And then she goes, I'm honestly like on the verge of tears. I'm so specific about food and I've been eating bad shit and feel fat and my stomach hurts from eating literally anything I can with substance.
She's playing the victim. She's putting her blame on her agents, who it's not her agent's job to fill out paperwork and tell me what they want. If she doesn't communicate that with them, they're not going to communicate with me.
And like, mind you, Gabby did not even fill out the dietary requirements form in time. So just for her to be acting like this is ridiculous. Overall, Daniel said that there were options for Gabby. She could have even postmated herself other food, even if she wasn't satisfied with what was given. But apparently she chose not to because she didn't want to spend her own money. Keep in mind that they are getting paid thousands of dollars to be here. Daniel said that he was confused on why Gabby didn't show these texts when she went off on him. Daniel said that he was confused as to why Gabby didn't show the texts that she went off on them. He said that he went above and beyond to accommodate her needs. He did much more than his job requirements, and it was all because he wanted to create a good and healthy environment for everybody and avoid a toxic atmosphere due to her behavior. And he said that she's trying to create a false narrative. From then, he talked about what was happening on set, people being yelled at by Gabby, her storming off. He said that she even mentioned that in her own video. Then he talked about Tana and Gabby's toxic relationship. He said that they were not good together. Both of them went off on each other.
I was a bitch and an asshole. One of the producers let it slip that they were like killing me off.
So that day it was decided that Gabby and Tana would have a double elimination. However, both of them together were not good.
But he made a comparison on Tana's part in the show. Like in season 2, she was this horrible mess that we know her to be, but apparently on season 4, she got her together, which sounds like an alternative reality, but we all know, how unprofessional Tana is. But besides that, Gabby and Tana together were unbearable, apparently.
Again, it's just these two strong, very passionate women who go head to head, and I just think their clash was not good for the other people on set.
After that, Daniel talked about the interview portion. Gabby mentioned in her video that she had to wait around a lot during her filming of the interviews. She was constantly rescheduled for them and so on. But apparently that is not true. Daniel said Gabby's schedule was more important to her than doing her job on set, meaning she was constantly falling behind on the interviews. So do you guys remember in Gabby's video where she was like, I was just sitting and ready in order to do my interviews, and all of these people would come up to me and be like, hey, let's do your interview, and then they would disappear on her and be like, never mind, not ready for you. Apparently what actually happened is this, and this is a text that got sent to Daniel from, I don't know, someone on set. So he talked to our talent producer team, and every time she was told to be ready and on standby for the interview, she wasn't ready. Either her hair or makeup wasn't done, or she wanted to eat. This just annoys me so much. How is her eating like such a big issue? How has it come up so many times? The pecking order moved on to the next YouTuber, so naturally Gabby fell behind in interviews. That's why she is needed. When she is originally asked last night to come in at 2:15 to make up for that time lost, she said, oh no, I'm not doing that. That's truly what happened. It's behind us. She will be there at 2:15. This is ridiculous, man.
I had an email from my agent saying, Gabby, you can't refuse to do interviews. And I was like, I'm not refusing to do interviews.
So yes, that right there is a refusal to work. That was the only time slot that we had available for you, Gabby, to do your interviews, and you didn't want to do it. And yes, that went back to YouTube, and that went back to your lawyer, and that went back to your agents. And that's why you got the email.
Then Daniel expressed that he knows what it's like working on set. He has experience in working for hours upon hours for minimal pay, and that's why he was trying to accommodate everybody. He said that he respects everybody on set because he knows it's about teamwork. The reason why the double kill happened between Tana and Gabby was because Tana had to be on another show and Gabby was very, very rude and disrespectful to the crew. And to top it all off, here is the point where Daniel snapped on her.
So, on the day of the key art shoot, she did show up. Not only did she show up herself, but she brought her disgusting behavior on set. I felt that was like walking on eggshells the entire day. Again, she was making people uncomfortable.
When they had to shoot for the marketing and billboards, they had to reschedule several times due to weather conditions, and Gabby was complaining about having to change her schedule around the productions. In their text, Gabby is so unreasonable, trashes her agents, and basically she blames them for another commitment, which was her going to the gym. She put her gym schedule ahead of a job that she is contracted to do. Daniel said that he was furious at that point, as am I. He had not slept in days, he's exhausted. In the text, he's letting her know that there is no other way, they can't reschedule the shooting, she has to be on time, which like makes sense, just think about it. There's like 10 other people just on the cast, right? And then who knows, like 20, 30, 40 other people on the crew, we don't know. Literally these like 100 people have to change their schedule to meet Gabbie's. That just doesn't make sense. And even if it was like something important, if she had to like catch a flight and couldn't like physically make it in time, that would be one thing. But for all these people to change their schedule for her to go to the gym, that's just ridiculous. In which Gabbie responds by talking about being killed off the show due to her not getting her healthy meals. She had the audacity to talk about when she needs to eat her meals. Daniel said that at that point he was panicking and he talked to the producers and the people at YouTube because this photo shoot was for all of the promo shoots. Like they couldn't just not have Gabbie in it, you know? So this was like really, really important. And at some points they were like even thinking about having a stunt double for Gabbie and then photoshopping her face onto it. Like it was the whole thing. Meanwhile, keep in mind that Gabbie legally needs to show up to this. Like she signed a contract saying that she would do this. So YouTube could have taken legal action had she not shown up. Daniel went on to say that he's not trying to push any narrative, he's just trying to tell the truth and show what actually happened. After that, he said that he was trying to talk to lawyers and see what they could do, so Gabbie completes what she is obliged to do by her contract. They thought of hiring a double and digitally editing it, like Gabbie's photo was taken. She ended up showing up for the marketing shoot, thank God. Then Daniel talks about how the shoot went on, and in one instance when Gabbie was told by a production assistant that they are running a little behind, they had to push her call a little bit. The PA left and Gabbie scoffed in a very loud way, "You dumb f***ing cunt." Multiple people heard that one, including him and Rosanna Pansino and other talents. He said it was very unprofessional, truly disgusting, and showed what type of a person she was. Daniel also added that at that point he just chose to send her home since they had 70% of what she had to shoot for the day. But he thought it was enough, he didn't want that behavior to continue. And also, like, keep in mind that PAs are the most, like, low-paid people on set, and they're probably doing the most amount of work, so they're already on like a ton of pressure, and for Gabbie to just add that onto her really speaks to me about the kind of person that she is. And I know she has accepted the fact that she was a bitch during that time, and she, you know, was unmedicated, she was recovering from all of these other scandals, but it's no excuse to talk to somebody like that, especially when they're like technically like at a lower position than you know? And lastly, he mentioned the collab that he did with Gabbie on her house makeover, as well as the Christmas party situation. He said for the collab, another YouTuber who was a DIYer was supposed to do a room in Gabbie's house, but just felt too uncomfortable and decided to pull out. And he just wanted to fill in for her, and even though he wanted to cancel as well, he just didn't want there to be like an entire like dramatic situation, so he ended up just doing it. In regards to the Christmas party, Daniel said that at the time Gabbie was going through a scandal and he didn't want to invite her to the party. She texted him asking if it was about her, that tweet that he made about people being naughty and nice, and he said that it was not. Also, he didn't invite Trisha either because he knew that she didn't get along with some of his friends and that she was aware of him not wanting to make people uncomfortable. And also, by the way, you guys, like, Daniel never invited either Gabbie or Trisha to begin with, and I think that's where I think I kind of misunderstood what happened in one of my last videos. I thought Daniel initially invited Gabbie and then uninvited her for no reason, and that's why I called him super fake. But I mean, technically he's not like obliged to like invite anybody. He never invited Gabbie. He never uninvited her either. I don't know. He said that he wasn't going to try to cancel or throw hate on anybody, but he wasn't going to let his name get dragged through the mud as well. He commented and pinned his own comment saying, "Monetization is on, y'all, because this was a giant waste of all of our time, but it needed to be done. Thank you for watching." One user says, when Gabbie says she's establishing boundaries, I think she means she's trying to establish how far she can push the boundaries of others. You and Joey clearly went above and beyond, spending your own money to fill the trailer with treats and make custom bathrobes. As someone who also loves to make little thoughtful gifts for someone just for the hell of it, I can't imagine how draining it must have been for someone to keep telling you it's not enough. Someone else says, makes sense why Gabbie was shadow banned. She literally totally disrespected YouTube through Escape the Night and then wondered why YouTube stopped promoting her. She had a reputation that nobody knew about behind the scenes, and then she uses it to be a victim. Wow. Alright, you guys, I really want to know your thoughts on all of this, so make sure to comment down below. That was it for today's video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post new videos every single week. Alright, bye.